Good evening. Tonight we will discuss the benefits of converting primary and secondary schools from 180 days to year-round schedules in the United States. According to the Furiello, the United States is ranked the second best education system in the world. Despite this, the United States consistently scores below other countries in math and science, despite ranking in the top 5 for capita spent per student. Several topics will be covered during this presentation. First, I will discuss how year-round school benefits socioeconomically disadvantaged students. Second, I will discuss how year-round schools allow students to struggle to understand and master concepts to stay on par with standards. Finally, I will discuss how year-round school mitigates summer learning gap. Over the last 1.5 years, education structure has changed significantly because of COVID-19. As a high school student, I went from attending class each day with my friends to online only on a reduced schedule. I went from dreaming of the next summer break to desperately wanting the social interaction that accompanies attending school. I went from raising my hand and asking a question to having to draft a written email detailing the parts of the lesson that I needed extra assistance with. This, coupled with the limited school hours and only 180 calendar days to learn material, has increased the difficulty of learning concepts as I advance through school. I know that I'm not the only one facing these struggles and can't imagine the negative impact for socioeconomically disadvantaged or the students that learn at a slower pace. With the rapidly evolving educational needs of students in the United States, the duration of school year and long summer breaks have been at the forefront of malleable principles to improve public school education in this country. When evaluating this topic, international reviews shows that other countries have adopted year-round education. Examples include China and Japan. These Asian countries produce some of the most brightest and accomplished primary and secondary scholars in the world. In addition to highly capable students, these countries have been able to mold the scholars' outlook and appreciation for formal education, creating motivated students. Considering our country's academic standing in comparison to others, the United States Department of Education, in collaboration with state governments, should pursue a year-round education as a means of improving student achievement in disadvantaged populations. Mitigating education shortcomings due to COVID-19 and reducing summer learning gaps. Having a school year-round will have many benefits to countless young and adolescent children. Socioeconomically disadvantaged students suffering from lack of steady food source would benefit from school year-round. As the predominance of public education institutions offers some form of cafeteria service with state-sponsored reduced or free breakfast and lunch, year-round school would mitigate a huge stressor for underprivileged participants. As an indirect means of promoting education, attendance rates will be improved by providing the basic needs for students. Although those opposing year-round school would argue that the food would prove insurmountable for public schools, this is not true. Research conducted by Hanover's Costs and Benefits of School Year-Round Calendar Systems provide a cost analysis and modest 3% increase to school systems. With a minimal economic impact, it is our ethical responsibility to school-aged children to provide access to formal education and basic human needs through the continuous calendar year model. By removing the worry of food scarcity during the long summers, a positive correlation will be seen when measuring disadvantaged students' attendance, progression, and graduation rates by allowing them to focus on their education. In addition to the benefits experienced by socioeconomically disadvantaged students, year-round school will provide advantages for students who struggle to stay on par and with the current academic calendar's rapid pace. With a calendar year for learning, more time could be spent teaching important objectives as required by state and federal governments. This would result in enhanced skill mastery for all students, regardless of learning tempo and style. In addition, educators would experience less pressure and be able to provide more individualized learning assistance as required by students. High-stakes testing would be easy to prepare for, and more focus could be given to practice without discontinuation of current lesson plans. With shortened and more frequent breaks compared to a long summer vacation, time spent reviewing forgotten concepts could be decreased. Lynch states that when presented with an argument that it is unhealthy to spend so much time indoors in a classroom setting, child development specialists could be advised that today's youth do not often play outside, instead choosing sedentary activities relating to electronic devices. It could be argued that year-round school would allow indirect means of inclusivity, as less focus would be placed on traditional Christian holidays. School calendars would likely encompass breaks during lesser-known holidays, and which would allow youth minorities to feel more accepted. With shortened and more frequent breaks compared to a long summer vacation, time spent reviewing forgotten concepts could be decreased. Although this is not widespread in the United States, there are a few schools that have piloted the program with resounding success. Participating schools have higher test scores in all areas compared with schools utilizing a traditional scheduling model. When a school system converts a year-round program, there is enough time off for students to forget what they have learned in a while in school. Known as learning gaps, scholars such as McEachin and Atterbury state that the information forgotten during extended break is enormous. Year-round school would be less learning gap and potentially eliminate it. The student's ability to grasp information without significant class time spent reviewing older concepts promotes greater comprehension and higher standardized test scores. Short, frequent breaks would allow students needed downtime throughout the year compared to rigorous traditional school year. Much like an adult worker takes a short breaks throughout his or her shift and comes back more focused, students would be offered a similar perspective. When comparing time off between traditional and year-round school models, most school systems find that they are able to give their students more time off, not subjecting their parents to the annual stress of finding them long-term childcare throughout summer break. Implementation of year-round school calendar results in many different benefits for the educators, students, and parents. Rewards reaped in widespread encompass disadvantaged youth, those struggling to understand and master concepts, and decrease stress associated with basic human needs. Time management and adequate child care. By following a model like an adult work schedule, students can appreciate future responsibilities while experiencing a more robust and less rushed curriculum. Parents experience less stress due to conflicts between child care needs and summer breaks and his or her own responsibilities. Teachers can practice individualized education versus an assembly line or blanketed testing methodology. With a minimal cost increase, school systems can provide a haven with basic human needs and potential to truly impact a child's life. With ever-increasing learning gaps due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it is time for federal and state governments to promote proactive engagement rather than reactive measures for forgotten skills through year-round primary and secondary education. Thank you for your time and have a great night.